Hey everyone! So this time I have a little bit of it's kind of like a scavenger hunt challenge, trying to find something. So the second graders are talking about lizards this week. And so I wanted to kind of highlight on the green anole or green anole, depending on kind of like potato. These are the little green lizards that you see everywhere. They're kind of related to a chameleon in a sense, and they have the ability to kind of change their hues or a little bit of their colors, so they can change from like a bright green to a brown and those in-between shades depending on their genes. So I want to tell you a little bit about them, and then I'll tell you what your challenge is. So a couple things about these lizards that you can look for if you find one would be that one, so the males are going to be bigger than the females. I think by a good like fourth, so like 25%. The females also are going to have a more prominent, typically, not all the time, but they usually have a white stripe all the way down their back where the males don't. So if it doesn't have one, it's definitely going to be a male. The other thing is that they all have something called a dewlap. It's basically a throat fan. It's that thing that comes down from their neck. They can kind of protrude it out. The males actually have a bigger red or pink dewlap. It is used to kind of fight with other males for territory. Like if they're like, no, this is my drain pipe, and we'll talk about that. Or this is my area, that this is where I catch bugs, that they'll flash it to kind of scare others away. They also do it to attract the females, to show them that they have the best and the coolest dewlap. So I think that's kind of fun. A little bit about them. So we've talked about how they're related to chameleons. They can kind of change their shade. They actually don't always change shade to match their environment. They actually can change based on stress, mood, and activity. So there might not always be matching the environment. You see that sometimes they're bright green on something super dark, and that may be because they're stressed, not just because they're not figuring out how to camouflage or anything like that, or match. They are most active in the spring and the fall, or you'll see them around the most, just because that's the best weather for them. Since they are cold-blooded, they need a good amount of sun without getting overheated as well. So you'll see a lot of them during this time, since it is spring. They eat insects, so they'll eat moths, flying ants, spiders, things like that they can find. And they're actually really fast if you can see them eat. And the last thing I want to say is that they have something, and if you know lizards, you know this, they have automatic tails. This means that sometimes when they're in trouble, if a predator is trying to get them, like a bird or a snake, they'll detach part of their tail, and the tail will still move, even though it's detached. And the reason they do this is not just to be weird. They do this so that it will distract their predators. Kind of like you. It distracts you, so you're staring at this tail that's not attached, it's wiggling, even though the lizard's still alive, right? So the lizard can get away. It's a chance for the lizard to get away because you're so distracted by the tail, and then the tail will grow back. So now that I've told you all about these lizards, and you've probably seen them before, your challenge is to find one outside your house somewhere, or on a walk, or anything like that. They love places that have bugs, right? Because that's where they eat their insects. They also love the drain pipes, those white gutters that go up and down your house. They're always hiding in them, kind of to get away, but also a good place where the bugs hang out too, because usually there's lights above them as well. So you want to try to find one, and I want you to write a few things that you notice that they do. So watch them for a few minutes, see what they do. See if maybe they're fighting with another, or getting the attention of another lizard, another Anole lizard around. Maybe they're flashing their dewlap. Maybe they're catching insects. I'd love to hear where you found them, and maybe what they're doing in relation to what I said. Are their colors matching? Are they maybe stressed out? What colors did you see? Were they dark brown, bright green? Let me know. I'm excited to see.